Hello, May here, and welcome to this video where I'll be explaining my process on making these paintings of different Disney characters as different types of Avatar, the Last Airbender benders. This will be a 4-part video series, so this is the first part, and in the other parts I will go through my drawings of even more characters. And for every video we have 5 characters I drew, so in total I drew 20 characters, which is a lot, but yeah, the paintings didn't take me too long. I looked at the time and yeah, for each one I took about 1 to 2 hours. And I sorted them to elements based on what I thought they would be or would fit to them. I also looked at their personalities, and I'll explain more of that when I go to each character, but yeah, definitely everything of my sorting is just my own opinion, so nothing's set in stone. And if you think differently about the characters, you can feel free to comment. And yeah, I'd love to discuss a little, because I love just exploring the characters even more. And I have to say, when I started drawing these characters, I didn't do as much research as at the end, and for some of them I would maybe also change the element I sorted them to at first and drew them with, but I talk more about this later on. First we'll start with Snow White, the first Disney princess ever. And as you can see, I beforehand made some outfit sketches of generally the benders. I used references from the series or even artworks, and I already came up with a palette like this. So I would only have limited colors, which really helps with making all of the drawings look good together and not overcomplicating things, and especially in animated series like Avatar: The Last Airbender, this is very important. For now, let's start with Snow White and her personality. Snow White seems like an optimistic and kind of childlike person. I mean, she's only 14 or 15 as far as I know. She also trusts easily and can be naive, which you can definitely see in the movie when she just starts living with the dwarves, which isn't that bad for her, but then she also takes the apple from the evil queen, which is bad for her, and she's generally a gentle person. Overall, for most of the Disney characters and protagonists, you have very kind people because they are shown as kind of role models and people the children or generally everyone who watches the movie should learn from. For her outfit, I picked a rather laid-back pose. For her outfit, I went with a Katara-inspired long waterbender dress, and instead of her hair tie from the movie, I just gave her this headpiece with some pearls, because I thought that in the water tribe they often have like pearl accessoires. I realized that compared to most of the other Disney characters, Snow White has a rather round face and fuller cheeks, and she doesn't have that big eyes, but I think this is because Disney was only establishing their style back then, and it's kind of a completely new thing to draw characters this way. As for the element I sorted her to, it's water obviously, and I did this because she seems like a loyal person and reliable and has sensitive attributes. All of these things really fit with waterbenders. She also reminds me a little of Yui and also of Katara. I also looked up her Myers-Briggs personality type because I kind of really am interested in it, and I also think like this you can see some similarities some characters have, even though it's not like you can just put people in some drawers and say, yeah, you're this type, and because of that you are like this. Because yeah, obviously every person is different. But as for Snow White, I found out she was an ESFJ, and it's the same personality type as Katara, so you can definitely see the similarities between her and Katara, even though you don't get to explore Snow White's personality in the movie as much. Other than being a waterbender, I could also see her as earthbender because she's very optimistic and trustworthy. But all of these are obviously just speculations, and yeah, it's just fun to kind of imagine it. Next up we have Aurora, and she used to be my favorite Disney princess back when I was a child. And for her personality, she's kind and elegant and kind of carefree, and also a hopeless romantic. The fairies even talk about this in the movie. She's kind like Snow White, but she's less childlike and more of like a dreamer person. When I went on to draw her outfit, I wasn't sure about her hairstyle because in the movie she has open hair, but I also thought, yeah, a ponytail or maybe even a bun would look good, and I went with the ponytail in the end. I also kept her hairband because she's more of like a relaxed and dreamer person. I chose a long dress and cape for her, just flowy clothing so that she would have more of a relaxed vibe. And compared to Snow White, I realized, yeah, that Aurora has a longer face, obviously. And I also found out that her eye color is actually purple, which is kind of crazy to me. I think I always thought it was like brown, and yeah, obviously purple isn't like a realistic eye color, but yeah, I think it really fits her somehow. The element I matched her up with is obviously air, and I'm pretty confident about this because yeah, she just gives off these airbender vibes, and she kind of reminds me of Aang, but she's less extroverted probably. For her personality type, she is an INFP and Aang is an ENFP, so yeah, it's almost the same. As for airbenders, they mostly try to solve the situations or conflicts peacefully, and it definitely seems like the thing Aurora would do. The philosophy of air nomads or airbenders is generally that they are detached from the world and the worldly problems, and that goal is to find peace and follow a path of least resistance. And yeah, I also thought that this would fit Aurora if she was in the Avatar universe. And she's also imaginative and can be kind of naive and carefree, which fits too. Next up we have Milo from Atlantis, and I didn't draw as many male characters in all of these in this series because yeah, obviously Disney is known for the princesses and there aren't that many male characters because I wanted to focus on the princesses, but I also wanted to include some of the male characters because yeah, I think it's really important to also have some of them. And I obviously in Atlantis there's Milo and Kida, and I'll also talk about Kida later on, and she's I don't know if she's an official princess, but to me she's one of the Disney protagonist princess characters. Yeah, but first we'll go to Milo, and he's a very likable character to me as well. For his personality, he's a very ambitious and dedicated person and is very logical and intelligent. He can also be a little clumsy or is also insecure. And for his outfit, the overall look kind of reminded me of in the movie when he decides to stay with Kida in the end. He wears these clothes they were there, and I think they kind of have a similar feeling as well. So instead of wearing regular clothes, he gets to wear these differently culture-based clothes. And yeah, it kind of reminded me of the Avatar Last Airbender clothing. I gave him a skirt with long pants, and I have to say I don't like how the arms turned out, and I kind of struggled with them. I'm not that good at drawing arms in the position I drew them in here, and anatomy is hard. As for his element, I made him an airbender because he seems like he would also want peaceful solutions like Aurora, and he's also imaginative. His Myers-Briggs personality type is an INTP, which is very similar to Aurora as well. He just favors thinking instead of feeling, which you can definitely see when he's making these logical decisions. But other than an airbender, I could also see him as an earthbender, because he's obviously logically grounded and a rather organized person. I just thought that overall I saw him as more of an airbender than earthbender. Next, as announced, we go on to Kida. For her personality, she's definitely more extroverted than Milo is, and she's very curious and determined and also ambitious, and she has a lot of energy, and she can also be aggressive, which you can definitely see when she just attacks the explorers when they first go to Atlantis. Her outfit is inspired by this outfit from Suki. I literally ended up copying the outfit and just changing the colors a little, because I thought it would, it kind of already looked a lot like something Kida would wear, so I just drew it on her. I also kept her face tattoo, which is blue in the movie, and I turned it red to fit the firebender aesthetic. As for her element, she's a firebender to me, and she also reminded me of Ty Lee from Avatar, but she's also more commanding and determined, kind of like Azula. Obviously she's not like traumatized from her childhood like Azula is, but for her personality type, I found out she's most likely an ENTP or ENTJ, and ENTJs are very commanding, and it's Azula's personality type as well, so I can definitely see some similarities, since she's not afraid to stand up for what she believes in. But loyalty is also very important to her, so if she wasn't a firebender, I would also be able to see her as the waterbender maybe. And lastly, we have Tiana, and I really like her personality, since she's a very, very ambitious person and strong-willed and has a lot of discipline. In the movie, she's kind of this workaholic person, and I kind of really aspire this philosophy of working a lot, but I also have to say, of course, you have to keep your balance between working and relaxing, otherwise your life won't be enjoyable. But Tiana has this big dream, and because of that she's able to work this hard. But in the movie she discovers that you can't always just work, and I think it's an important lesson for most people, definitely. Now on to her outfit. I have to say I'm not super happy with the result, because I mixed the two outfits you can see on the reference images of Suki, but I struggled with finding a good balance of colors, but because both outfits have a different color palette. Looking back at it now, I think I should have just stuck to Suki's outfit, the one on the right side, because mixing these bright green pastels with dark green, which is muted, it doesn't look that good to me. I could have also just changed the color of one of the parts. As you can see, I see her as an earthbender the most, because she's very enduring and adaptable, and yeah, she's generally a hard worker, definitely. She can also be stubborn, which also kind of fits the earthbenders. Other than being an earthbender, I could also see her as a waterbender. Her Myers-Briggs personality type is an ESTJ. From all of the Avatar characters, I have to say she reminds me of a few of them. Some of them are Suki or Katara or even Korra. I said she was an ESTJ, and Katara is an ESFJ and Suki ESTP, which both of them are like one letter off. So yeah, there definitely are some similarities, mainly between the earthbenders and the waterbenders. So that's why I picked an earthbender outfit and element for her in the end. That's it for this video with the 5 characters I drew. We have a good mix in here with one waterbender, one firebender, one earthbender and 2 airbenders. I overall sorted most of the characters as an airbender, so you will see that overall a lot of the characters will be airbenders. I only have very few firebenders because the Disney aesthetic overall, it just is very peaceful, which is why I think this happened, that I would sort many of them as airbenders. But if you think differently about what element the characters have, you can definitely tell me. I'm happy to discuss it a little. And what's also really cool to imagine is like what kind of fighting style each character would have. Yeah, it's connecting different fandoms or universes in a way. It's always a lot of fun. I also really like learning about the outfit choices and what kind of outfits can look good or maybe also not so good. And coming up with own versions of outfits is a lot of fun as well, with them being inspired by other things. And yeah, it's always good to have some references and then create your own ideas. And this is definitely also something I could do with this little project. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye.